Whitehead. Hi, Tyler.
Hi, Bart.
Good to see you. Happy New
You
Year.
too. Happy New Year to you too.
Well, we were talking earlier today about what we're all seeing in Los Angeles, and I was curious, as a firefighter, looking at those pictures, what goes through your mind?
One, sounds bad, but lucky we don't have to deal with it. From the job that I get to do, one would be, how to stop it. How can we prevent it from spreading, something like that, if we were to ever have an event like that, and what we could do as a department, as a community, to get our message out. Get your property cleaned up. That's what CAL FIRE's been saying for years, and these the Michigan DNR, State National Forest Service, all been saying for years that keep your areas clean, keep your houses, the debris from your house, your vegetation clear, stuff like that. Something we were just talking about before we got here down to the station was a little bit of perspective on these. We were looking at the Palisades fire. It was like 17,000 acres, and we did some looking around. And it's about 2.5 times the city of Jackson inside our city limits, and just one fire that they have to worry about. And there's 3 to 5, depending on what report it is right now, 3 to 5 that are the size of the city of Jackson, if not 1 to 2 times that size.
That's amazing when you put it in that perspective. Plus all the hills and
It's insane.
Yeah. Now the fires, they're being fueled by the winds.
Yep.
So I guess that's a good thing that that can change. We're hopeful to see some winds die down, but the lack of rain, that's been a big part of it as well.
That's what we were listening to today. Every so often I listen to some of the reports, and that was one thing they were talking about. Their weather is the way the winds are blowing now, and seeing what when their next precipitation is going to be doesn't sound like it's coming for a while. So
I get that, the brush, cleaning up the brush. I see one of the museums, the Getty, I guess, is a big museum out there where they have spent quite a bit of time for months just making sure there's not just brush surrounding the buildings. That makes a difference.
Oh yeah.
Now you've got a huge number of firefighters in California, but not enough. They're bringing in, and I think firefighters are volunteering to come and help. What kinds of things as a department, because you do assist other departments.
Yep.
What kinds of things do you have to bring with you, prepare for when you are assisting other departments like a situation like this?
So it completely depends what they're asking for. What we typically deal with would mostly are residential fires. We bring our engine, our manpower, and all of our stuff's on the engine with us. These firefighters are dealing with stuff that thankfully we don't again have to deal with. They're preparing for 2-week deployments at a time, some 16-hour shifts for 2 weeks straight before you get a break, and then you're back to doing it again. They're bringing everything with them, not only their equipment, but their individual supplies to make it for the the full length of the deployment. And they got to learn how to work with the departments they're going with. Not only are there state, federal, local resources, there's firefighters come in from across the world for this. Last year there was a big article, a big news story about them coming in from Australia and New Zealand, come help in California, and let alone the barriers that brings, but just having to fly it all to you just adds one more thing to that.
So they've got to have like cots and sleeping bags.
Yep. Yeah. Some of their pictures they have out there, semi-truck trailers full. We're lucky enough on our department, we have a new firefighter who was a wildland firefighter before, and got to ask him a bunch of this stuff too. So some of the stories he had for us were just nuts of what their mobilizations look like.
So we're seeing no water. They've used up all the water. They're picking it up out of the ocean and dumping it by plane. In situations where you're a firefighter, you've got no water, there's no tanker, there's no fire hydrant. How do you respond when there's no access to water?
So for us here, it's, we're lucky we have a hydrant system, and throughout most of the county there's a hydrant system. Most of our coverage area for the most part. And we have a good maintenance program that the city does and the townships do, so we don't really have to worry about it too much for us. These guys out there, talking to our former wildland guy that we have now, they do a lot of structure triage, and it's the ones that are defended, the ones that have taken the preparations that they can save. That's where they're going to prioritize over the ones that aren't, that are, might already be going or are going to get ready to go. Then they'll move and protect the ones that they can.
And you have to be honest with people. And I overheard a firefighter telling a resident spraying a hose that you're not going to do it. It's not going to.
Yep.
Give up. Yeah. You've got people working in the shifts you've talked about. You can tell they're already just 2 days into this. It's taking a toll. People are exhausted. And for your health, you're breathing smoke and who knows what else. The toll on the men and women. How does this affect firefighters?
Many ways. Not only the stress, the physical stress, the emotional stress, you're walking and hiking through some of the roughest terrain in the world. Not only that, and then you throw in the mix of now you're doing it in a city and in other communities that might be hundreds, if not thousands of feet up the side of a mountain. And outside of that, you might be responding to your own home, your own neighborhood, and you get there and it's already happened. There's nothing you can do about it, and worrying about protecting your family and your loved ones and where they're going, and is it going to go where they're at? Where do they go to be safe? All that kind of stuff. It's that emotional stress I couldn't even fathom.
Yeah, you're right. The people, they are fighting fires in their own home neighborhoods.
Yep.
The amount of equipment for a typical response situation, how heavy is the gear you're wearing on a response? For
our gear,
yeah,
it depends. Some of them are 30 to 60 pounds, depending on what you carry, what guys have in their pockets. Wildland firefighters are in that ballpark as well with their backpacks and their gear, their tools and their boots and all the stuff they have to bring with them. They're in that ballpark too, just walking way longer than we do.
So it sounds like there's 4, maybe 5 separate fires burning right now, all at 0% contained. What's your opinion on what the I guess the outlook is for getting everything under control?
Hopefully the weather cooperates and they can get more resources. There's not being the wildland expert, it's tough to say.
One of the things I've noticed, because they have had a chance to interview some firefighters on various media, and even though the situation is dire and the firefighters are exhausted, there's not a negative word. You don't hear any negativity. There are people that are calling for Mayor Karen Bass's head because lack of preparation or planning, but for whatever reason, nobody in the fire departments are complaining about anything. And I think that's pretty admirable.
Just do our job.
Well, thanks for coming in today.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, good to see you.
You too.
And hope you guys, I hope you spend a lot of time in the station.
Yeah, same.
From the City of Jackson Fire Department, Fire Inspector Tyler Whitehead.